Okay, so just so everybody knows, you're getting the kind of chilled out version of Adam LZ today because we spent the entire day, like 10 hours riding. Maybe not 10, maybe 8. But we filmed an Instagram Slam and 2 games of bike today, and people at home probably have already seen both of them. But then this is the TCU TV as a result. And so you're probably tired. You're probably not the energy freak that you are normally, right?
I mean, this is very true. And like, I'm kind of tired too because I know I need to get up early for my flight back home tomorrow.
True.
So yeah, my eyes are getting a bit like red.
But that's the best, is to not sleep before the flight, so you set yourself up for sleeping when you get home.
This is true.
That's one way of handling it. Were you ever, just a side question, were you ever prescribed any ADD medications or anything as a kid?
No, I really don't think that I have like ADHD or anything. I just think like I get in the zone sometimes and I just like really just don't think before I speak.
High energy level.
Yeah.
One of your attributes.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like kind of caffeine induced. So.
Do you drink that much caffeine?
No, it's just like when I want to be hyper, I drink caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like excessive amounts. It'll be like a coffee or like a energy drink. Yeah.
The other day when I went and met up with you guys in San Diego, Beacon was like, yo, you got to seriously stop LZ from drinking Red Bull. He just had 2 of them and he's fucking won't stop talking.
I had like 1 and it just made me ride a lot.
So what, this is like...
Yeah, shout out to Red Bull if you guys are looking for anybody for your team.
So basically, you've been out here for how long? 7 days?
8 or 9 days.
8 or 9 days.
Yeah.
And you've been hanging out with a troop of pro riders, including Alex Donici, Brandon Began, David Grant, Stevie Churchill, Chris Kyle. How's it been?
It's definitely been cool. Like, it's one of the things that I was kind of stoked on is it just getting to experience kind of like the pro life, if you will. I mean, I don't know if that's what you would call it, but just kind of like that whole mentality, like, you know, getting in the van and going on these like long trips and staying on random people's floors and couches and stuff.
And what is your riding life like when you're home in comparison?
I mean, honestly, like, I've been super busy with school and stuff. And like, obviously before I came here, I had mad exams and stuff. But I mean, typically, you know, ride like anywhere between like 1 to 3 times a week. And, you know, I'll go out to a skate park just because it's really easy and like kind of time efficient for me to just go and like have a really good session.
Florida Street sucks.
Yeah, Florida Street does suck. You have to, like,
Cali Street is awesome. So there's that.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, there's definitely like cool spots in Florida, but it's kind of like you have to find them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
yeah. I mean, so yeah, on the whole, like, you know, you had a tweet a couple of days ago where you said, I don't want to move here.
Yeah,
Had you previously thought you wanted to?
Yeah, I thought I wanted to move here because I think like LA and kind of everything was just kind of glamorized in my eyes. Like I just viewed it as this like really pretty place, kind of like you see in the movies and like Hollywood and stuff. Like out here, I mean, like there's bums like walking by. Like,
Well, this area is grimy as hell, so that's one thing.
And this area is still super expensive to live in.
True.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's like super expensive to live in and it's like really not that nice, I mean, obviously the street is cool, but like, I mean, I could always like fly here, you know.
But do you love Orlando, or do you want to move somewhere else after school?
Oh no, I don't love or where I live at least. I don't really love just because there's way too many college kids. I don't like college kids.
You are a college kid, though, right?
Yeah, but like, you know, the typical college kid that just doesn't know how to drive and just gets on your nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I am a typical college kid.
All right, so let's go back in time. How did you get started with the whole YouTube thing?
Well, back in 2009, that's when I started making videos, and it was just like me and my friend Cody, you know.
Cody Kruger. Shout out to Cody.
Yeah, shout out to Cody. Cody's definitely one of my homeboys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without him. And, you know, we had like, I got a little handy cam for Christmas, and we would go out and just film ourselves, you know, riding in the street, doing some mediocre stuff.
So you were telling me the other day that you actually, there is YouTube footage of you like pulling your first 180.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's my first 180, but there's YouTube footage like when I clearly just learned 180s and couldn't even fakie.
And was this like a part of your life previously that you just kind of always had a video camera and recording shit?
No, it actually wasn't. Like, I think what it was, like, I mean, I don't know if this contributed to it, but my dad did always actually like film stuff,
right.
And he would like take pictures of me riding and stuff, just because like he was always like the type of person just, you know, play with his little point and shoot camera. But I think a lot of it was I had a friend, Shane Beck, who back in high school he would make like skate videos, and like they were always cool, and like, you know, everyone in the school would watch them because like, I mean, they weren't really that good, but you know, they were like skating around town, and you would see like, oh, that's the supermarket, and they were like just doing cool stuff off curbs. So like they were the cool kids, and I kind of wanted to do the same thing with BMX.
Yeah. And so how'd you kind of dip your toe in? You just started making super random, like bad quality videos at first, I'm assuming?
I mean, yeah, like we left their first video, So Cold BMX. I think it was like maybe a week or 2 after Christmas when I just got my camera. And it was literally like in the Northeast when it snows, like the road is covered in sand and salt. And it was literally us riding on a street covered in sand and salt, doing like 180s and like foot jam to fakie on flat ground, not even getting the rollout, just to make a video, and edited to like Jay-Z and Linkin Park.
Wow, I can't believe you just admitted to editing to Linkin Park on the air. That's awesome. Linkin Park and Jay-Z, they did an album together, didn't they?
Yeah.
An acoustic album together, wasn't it?
No, it was
Or was this a song?
No, I think they did a couple songs.
That's kind of a low point in the history of Jay-Z.
I thought it was pretty cool, like collab. Obviously,
I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. We might even be wrong right here. I don't even know.
Actually, I don't even think I used the Linkin Park. I think it was just 99 Problems.
Oh, okay. That's a classic. So, at what point did you start to realize, like, oh, there's potential in this? Like, YouTube could actually, like, when do you have even like a hint of success?
Obviously, from the beginning, I don't want to say it was super successful from the beginning, but I definitely like started gaining traction pretty early. But I never really viewed it as anything with potential. I just thought it was cool, like, getting more and more views on every video. So, like, I don't know, maybe 2010, like after a year making videos, like started getting traction.
But it was just a consistent thing. You didn't have like a breakout hit or anything.
Oh, I started getting a lot of traction when I started playing this like online game of bike with this kid Marcus Pewitt. But I don't know, I maybe had like 50 subscribers and he had like 3,000.
And he lived where?
He lives in California, actually.
Oh, and so you would play against him
like online, like virtually.
So
like I would upload a video of like doing a trick, and then he would have to upload a video doing the same trick.
And kids just started to get into this, and they just started to kind of buy into it and be interested.
Well, I think a lot of it was, and no offense to Marcus, but I think I was a bit better than him at the time. And like all of his fans, like there wasn't really that many people making YouTube videos like that. And I think a lot of his fans like saw that I was a bit better, and I was winning the game of bike, and so they just wanted to follow and see what I was uploading. So just a really, really good collaboration in that sense.
And so, at what point did you start to make money from YouTube?
I don't know exactly, but what YouTube does once you start getting enough views and enough attention, they'll like ask you if you want to monetize your videos.
Well, at this point, anybody can monetize anything. Back when, we were doing it, or more with you, maybe not even me so much, but you had to like join a network and apply to basically start running ads. Now everyone can run ads.
You didn't have to like join a network; it was automatically Google. Like there were
there weren't MCNs back then.
Yeah, we won't bore them with that
boring,
stuff.
Yeah.
But you would start to get a decent amount of videos, and then YouTube would hit you up, be like, "Hey, do you want to put some ads on this video?" And I did it. I don't think I really started making that much money until I saw what Marcus was doing, and he was asking people to click the ads on the videos,
which is hugely illegal for all the kids at home.
Yeah, it's really pointless, and it's basically like advertisers are paying a lot of money to have their ad displayed on your videos, and you're basically showing them fake results.
Yeah,
like a lot of people are clicking to see, like, I don't know, if there's an ad for makeup. Like, why would a lot of people be clicking an ad for makeup? Because no one uses makeup.
And so you learned your lesson and you got your account banned or blocked? Or what?
I got my account blocked, and then I was like, okay, well, I probably did this wrong, and then I did it again.
The same thing?
Yeah, I did the same thing
that's
again.
Bad.
Yeah, well, I got like a taste of success, and I don't remember. I think I might have gotten banned. Like I used like songs and stuff too, and like tried to monetize.
And back then, you could get in trouble for using songs, which is kind of weird to even think about now.
Yeah, no,
not in trouble, but you get your account fucked with. You get copyright strikes,
especially if you like try to put ads on a video that has like a song on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and basically then I got the Adam LZ how-tos, and just to like kind of give a scale to you guys, like I probably made like 12 grand before I got caught, and like that channel got shut
over the
down.
course of how long?
I don't know, maybe a year.
But like, you were probably
there was one point where I was making like I don't know, it was maybe like between like $1,500 and $2,500 a month.
And this is when you still didn't have that much of a following. It was just because you were scamming it.
Yeah, like I probably had like 10,000 subscribers.
A lot of people think that YouTube videos make a lot more money than they actually do, because I've had people say to me like, "Oh, like you make thousands of dollars off every YouTube video," and I'm like, "Yeah, I wish. That sounds awesome." Like,
Yeah. No, but it was definitely crazy too, because I think I was 15 at the time, and I was just making bank.
And your parents didn't understand, or what?
They kind of did, but they just they didn't really ask questions. They didn't really know. And I was given like I don't remember. I was giving half, or like I was giving a decent chunk to Cody, like my homeboy who like I started filming with and everything.
Yeah.
And then also, I would just blow it on like the stupidest stuff. Like obviously my car, like my first car, I just spent so much money. I would order dumb stuff for it all the time, and like I would always like buy my friends dinner, buy my friends Starbucks. Like I would go to Starbucks all the time.
I still go to Starbucks all the time.
Yeah, but like when you're 15 years old, like I remember
balling at Starbucks.
I remember I got my license and I would literally go to Starbucks every day after school, which is just the biggest waste of money.
No, that's almost everyone does that. I feel like.
Yeah, but like on my own money.
When you're 15, okay.
Yeah, like when you're 16, like I'm sure kids are.
So how'd you pull it together? How'd you start working with YouTube in a legal way? And was it hard for you to set up a separate account? Or
I think the hardest thing was going from making really good money towards like building it up from scratch, where like you really, because like realistically, if you like don't cheat the system, you don't really make much at all.
Yeah, you have to really be like me and you. Like that's what maybe people don't know is that the Come Up and you have by far the biggest YouTube followings in BMX.
Yeah.
So if a bomb hit this building right now, the internet would be permanently damaged.
I think the name Adam would be forever changed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this would be
That'd
terrible.
be fucked up.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the other Adams out there. There would have to be some other Adam that would come up out of the ashes, you know? Holy shit, that is so loud. You know what, though? A lot of times you can't hear that stuff as well as you'd think.
Really?
That was just a fucking motorcycle engine outside that was insanely loud.
Yeah, shout out to guys with motorcycles.
Oh,
That's probably Alfredo's brother.
They always have the biggest dicks. So then you got more legitimate with it, and so how'd that go? Like,
well, I mean, like I said before, like obviously the money wasn't a huge thing, but I think at a time like when you're making that much money, like that definitely plays a role into like what you're making. And I'm sure I was making more videos at the time because like, oh, it's money. And for a little bit, I think I did get money hungry with videos, and I was just churning crap out just to make money. But
and
then,
you only
like,
had like what, a couple thousand subscribers at this point, so it was,
I mean,
it didn't seem like that big a deal.
Actually, I think when Adam LZ How To's got shut down, I might have had like 25,000-30,000.
Wow.
And I actually I gave up like on videos. I just like got really frustrated with whole making money on them, and I just went back to uploading videos on the BMX Guitar 5 channel, which is my original one that got banned.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a third channel that got banned in there too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I made the actually. See, this is the thing.
Is this the only criminal behavior you've ever been involved with?
I don't know. But anyway, with Adam LZ How To's, I actually didn't ask people to click ads.
Uh-huh.
It was on the second one that I asked people to click ads, which was BMX reviews and how to's. And Adam LZ How To's I didn't, but what happened was the carryover from people still remembering to click ads from the first channels.
Wow.
Those people were still abusing the click. They were still just click on my advertisements. Even though
it got banned again, though.
Yeah, because like I mean,
you had like an illogically high click-through rate. Yeah.
Yeah. So Google just assumes like maybe you're like I don't know you have some
you
conference
told them
and
privately
you're
or whatever.
Them.
Yeah.
So like they don't like that. It's dumb. And I mean I understand why they banned me. Recently, I actually got that account reinstated, but I don't think I'm ever going to use it again.
So how did you get more serious about like actually making a living off of YouTube in a more legitimate way?
I mean, it was never about making a living off YouTube. It was just more like me just trying to like build up a fan base again and make like cool videos and shit. So I mean, obviously, I started out making more how-tos. Like I redid the how to bar spin, which was definitely like one of my most popular videos. And that one I redid that, and then we kind of started getting the webisode game on the new channel, which I think really kind of like it was a really slow start, but that recently started gaining traction.
Define webisode.
Webisode, basically this thing. I'm sure there's tons of people that do it, but this guy Josh James in the UK, shout out to Josh James.
Shout out to Boker.
Yeah, Boker. So I mean, basically, what it is a bunch of raw clips of you and your friends just hanging out and just edited together. Like you include anything, it doesn't matter if the filming's good or not, and they're just super not stressful to film because you're just having fun.
Yeah. And it's interesting, though, that, like, TCU does it, you do it, Boker does it, but not that many people do this sort of thing,
Oh, there's definitely a lot of people that do it, but it's just
unpopular ones. But
yeah.
You would think that this is the kind of thing that more BMX brands would want to latch onto, is just sort of making stuff that's more relatable and has more of a feel to it. But it seems like BMX companies are sort of too up their own ass, or they just think it's uncool to do that.
Well, I think that's a very nasty thing of you to say, because I think all the BMX companies watching this right now are great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I do agree with you to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is just like, some people think they're too cool for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What's your attitude on that? You don't seem to be that concerned about how cool you are. Is that what separates you from a lot of other BMX riders?
Yeah, I just think I've dealt with so much shit. Like I feel like I've been getting hated on literally since 2009.
Yeah.
That I'm just at the point where I just don't care.
Yeah, it's
like,
very easy to block it out over time. Yeah, it's like I don't even hear the things at this point. I don't know.
And honestly, like normally people only hate you like if you're like if they just don't understand.
Yeah.
They just don't get what's going on. Like they don't understand why you have followers and you're not really that good at riding.
So how would you define why your channel is successful? Like what's the most important stuff that makes it successful in comparison to people that are better riders or better production quality or better whatever?
Well, I mean, I obviously can't give away everything because then,
okay.
I mean, like...
What's the gist of it, though?
I mean, the gist of it is just that, like, I make videos that, like, I listen to what my fans want to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's really important. Like, you got to, like, care about your fans because, like, those are the ones that, like, put you where you are.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for my fans. I wouldn't be in LA.
So you listen to a lot of what they say? And,
oh, for sure. Like, 100% I'm responding.
But what kind of stuff, though, do you do?
I'm answering comments. I'm, seeing what they want to see in the next video, and I'm taking input in if some kid's like, oh, like, I don't really like the edit with the song, but I like the webisode. Or like if I see in views or even analytics, like YouTube analytics are amazing. You can learn so much just about like retention rates, which is like how long people are watching your videos.
Stuff, yeah. Love it.
It's amazing. Like you could literally waste your life on analytics, and we do.
Well, I try not to. It's actually kind of like a dirty secret of mine. Is like how often I look at it. Even every day, I feel like it's kind of a waste to look at every day.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's just like you just end up getting caught up in these statistics for no reason, and it's sort of like you can't do anything to really change it on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you can, but
It is cool if you're like monitoring goals, Yeah,
totally. But even then, it's like, why not look at it every week or two? It's kind of like checking your email all day, every day. It's sort of like,
Yeah,
whatever.
Switching costs, yada yada yada.
Yeah, but so I don't know what the word that comes up a lot is relatable. How do you feel that you're relatable?
Well, I mean, I'm a white kid from the suburbs who's really not that good at riding, and I'm like into other stuff than just riding. Like I'm into cars and stuff, which a lot of kids are. And
do you feel like your audience is really appreciative of you doing stuff like the car stuff, or?
Obviously, the people that are into cars are.
But do you think that your hardcore BMX audience is kind of turned off when you're doing something that's totally out of the box?
Not at all. I think they have 100% the option to watch, and it's not like it's an absurd amount of cars. Like in webisodes or like other videos, I might include a clip of me like driving someone else's car that I think is cool. And like, I mean, I obviously can look at videos, and I think that's one of the like key important things of like why I've been successful is like I know what's boring and what's not, and I can very easily put myself in other people's shoes.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Whether it's me like sending an email to a company asking for something, I can easily put myself in their shoes, or even something like I can understand like what the professional bike rider wants to see in one of my videos versus what my fans want to see versus what a company wants to see.
And so would you say that it's more important for you to appeal to your fans rather than your peers?
Oh, for sure. I don't really care what like you think about.
See, this is a
videos.
very unique opinion, though, is because I feel like most companies in BMX are trying to make these beautiful high-end productions, and they're doing that in a weird and in a way. Then those types of things come out, and they don't maybe necessarily do as well as they would expect, and they sort of then they look at your stuff and they're like, look at how many fucking views he's getting, and he's just making these sort of like low quality videos in a certain sense, and they just don't understand. And that's I think where some of the animosity or at least the confusion about who the fuck this Adam LZ kid comes from. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, for sure. Like, I mean, we were talking before about how I had a video, like this one skate park jam that I did. Like, I did an actual jam, just kind of like meet my fans and stuff when I went back home for the winter. And like, I made a traditional like jam style video, which was just edited to some rap music and just
3 minutes,
like
mixed
some
bar,
really good
edited,
writing,
edited to the music.
And then I did the webisode style one that has more like behind the scenes, like having fun and stuff, and like the view count, like one has like, I don't know what, like 30,000 views, and one has over 100,000.
Well, your average video does like over 100 or 200,000 views or whatever, and that's what I thought was interesting was just the fact that this one video that is much more like a normal BMX video that you see on any old site these days, or that you've always seen, is like a 3-minute mix or a 5-minute mix or whatever from a contest.
You just answered your question right there.
Yeah.
You always see it. It's always on BMX.
You've always seen
it's
it.
typical.
And that's what's crazy to people that they can't accept, I think, is that certain things work online that don't work in other formats, like a 3-minute mix from a contest or a 5-minute mix or whatever in props. That used to be like the thing that everybody would watch 100 times. You're interesting because you came up.
You really think that about props though? Because like that's one of the things. Like I don't want to say I try to imitate props with my videos, but like when I grew up, I loved props because it wasn't just riding. Like
true, but that's Road Fools. I'm talking more about like that's Megator.
That's all I really knew.
Yeah, but like the average like props issue where it would have 5 video sections in it and have like an interview, a contest, a jam, whatever, and like the jam would usually be like 5 minutes edited to a song, maybe 2 songs, and that was the kind of content that seemed very logical in that format. And then now on YouTube, we actually have the data to look at that and say like, oh, maybe that isn't the best way to make, like, okay, I'll talk about my experiences. Like when I go to those jams or the Monster Street Series last year, and I would make these videos that would be maybe like 8-10 minutes long, and it's just straight me standing there with a camera filming all the bangers. There's no music, there's no editing. I get it out like 8 hours after the contest, and those things will kill it and do many hundreds of thousands of views. And even with like, the OSS jams that we do and stuff, like those videos do so much better. And I can't sit here and explain why a 10-minute raw edit does better than a 3-minute edited edit. All I can say is that, the proof is in the fucking pudding. Apparently people like that. I
mean, I think with you too, like it's different because you're dealing with so many different riders, whereas me, like, everything's always, I don't want to say everything's about me because it's not, but like I'm a very common factor in all the videos. So like people have learned a lot about me.
That's a huge strength for you, is that our videos are a little all over the place.
For sure.
And your videos are like, I love how we keep passing the water back and forth. This is disgusting. Kids, don't do this. But yeah, that's definitely like the strong point of your videos, and why I think that they do such high numbers so consistently is just because of the fact that, if you're an Adam LZ YouTube subscriber, you probably really like Adam LZ enough that you actually want to watch every single video. And with a come up fan, it's not necessarily as strong a bond, even though, because, everything is a little different. But then certain stuff like the webisode stuff we do, those are the ones that I notice that like our viewers are just crazy about. And I don't really necessarily know why, except that I feel like if you're watching something without music and it's a little bit more like, shows the scenery, it shows the riders yelling, it shows everything, I feel like it just makes people sort of feel like, oh, like I was there. I was hanging out. It's I don't know. People are so scared of long content online too, which is weird.
And I agree with you, but I really think there's going to be a change that we're going to start to see over, I don't know, maybe the next 5 years, maybe the next 10 years. But I think TV is slowly being replaced by online media.
Yep.
And I think longer videos are becoming more popular because, I mean, I even know, like, I'll just sit down and, like, at night instead of where I normally would watch a TV show because, like, I don't have a TV. I don't want to spend money on cable. Like, I'll sit down and I'll watch, like, my favorite YouTube videos, you know? Like, and I hate it when, like, a video is, like, 10 minutes long because then it's, like, it feels like it's just over when you're starting to get into it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you see a 30-minute video or when somebody looks at one of these and it's like, oh, it's an hour and a half, it's like, yeah, that does intimidate and scare off a lot of people, but it also means that when people do listen to it, that they really have to listen to it, that they have to sit down, tune in. And that's why, like, if we get 25,000 views on, like, the Black Man or the Nigel podcast, I'm looking at that like, oh, that's a big fucking success for us, even though we might be getting 100,000 or 200,000 on a webisode, like, just because with the long content, if somebody's really going to sit there and watch it, you know that they actually give a shit.
For sure. And I think the cool thing about these, like in particular, I really didn't watch a lot of them unless it was someone like I extremely care about because just again, like being in college and everything, like I do have very, very little time.
Yeah.
And basically for me, like what I would typically do when I'm like editing pictures in Photoshop or whatever, I just kind of have it playing in the background because it's something like, it's kind of like music where you can just listen to it, but you like, I can actually listen while I'm doing a Photoshop and it's kind of cool because like you're learning.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that I like about this. Like there are funny stories and there are stuff, but I like the fact that like we do kind of talk about the industry and the back end of things that kids don't really get to hear about much.
Yeah.
So it is a very educational thing too.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
It makes me really excited too to be able to, you know, obviously if I interview Black Man or Mike Hoda or whatever, or even you, like everybody's going to fucking, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to watch it because it's you. But we did one with like Ed Polio, who's not really that well known, but I like got to write a description that tried to tell people like, yo, this is a dude who's doing something really important for the scene, whatever. And that got, you know, it did well. And it's pretty crazy just that a lot of people found out about, you know, Ed Polio through that. And now they're going to have a relationship with him, at least in terms of knowing what he's all about. You know, it's pretty.
For sure. I think it's definitely like a cool tool on your end where you can kind of like shine the light on people that you think like deserve the light to be shined on, you know?
Why are you still in college?
I mean, it's kind of a,
You probably thought about dropping out, right?
oh yeah, and definitely like I mean we haven't even gotten into the whole store thing and like all that stuff.
Right. Okay.
But I mean that's a huge thing. Like why I've been contemplating dropping out.
Okay, so let's talk about that first. Is like the clothing line side of things and just making sure people probably won't even believe. Like if they knew the numbers, they probably wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
How did all that shit happen?
It's definitely crazy. So how it actually first happened, this was like back in 2012. Actually, I rode for a bike shop, Wallingford Bike Barn. And like they knew the numbers I was doing. They knew how like dedicated my fan base was. And not a lot of companies or anybody like really showed interest in me, but they were trying really hard to like get me. Brian Hona, who's like the owner there, was trying really hard to like get me on a team or like get me hooked up. And like he wasn't really having much luck because again I was just like a YouTube kid and companies didn't understand it. So he wanted to help me kind of take advantage of it, and he was going to help me make a shirt, and we were going to sell it through the Bike Barn website. And like we had this cool shirt. I had my friend Mike Johnson design it. It was this cool design of me hopping over a car because I was like into cars and BMX, so it worked. And we just kind of like he just didn't really follow through with it because we got an issue with the design and we couldn't get it printed and everything. So I just kind of took it upon myself, did it, sold a ton, like sold out stupid fast, and then realized that there was actually potential and kind of went from there. So.
And so then what? You just kind of just went from there? Like, because I remember like in my early days of doing like TCU merch when I was doing it all by myself. Obviously, OSS is like a totally different thing now because I have like a bunch of different designers working for us and everything and all that stuff. But I mean, did you make a lot of mistakes in the beginning in terms of doing the clothing side of things?
Oh yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes I made was in the very beginning. Like I used really crappy quality shirts.
Okay.
And I feel like those initial 100 people, I still sweat it to this day. Like they got a crappy quality shirt, and it pisses me off because I think all those 100 people are never going to order again. Right? It wasn't really that shitty quality. It was just kind of like it was just like, you know, the stuff that you would get from like a school that like gives out for a fundraiser or something. Yeah, Gildan. The Gildan Ultra Cotton shirt. Yeah, which a lot of like streetwear brands and like big BMX companies still use to this day.
But doesn't really work as well in BMX because it's sort of like a thick, boxy blank, and people in BMX want like a thinner, like longer.
I can think of like one BMX company that you probably have some of their shirts, and I'm not going to mention it, but like there's one big BMX company that's still printing on Gildan blanks, but they just cut the tags out and print the labels. Yeah,
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
but the hood loves that.
Yeah, for sure. And I just feel like those initial 100 people, like they kind of like will probably never order again. And I'm all about like kind of creating like a loyal customer, you know? So actually what I ended up doing is I ended up emailing them all after like giving like a super good deal to try like one of the new ones once I actually found like a decent blank. So.
And so, yeah.
Blank shirt.
What you have like a fanatical fan base, I would say, like based on what I've seen from them. How would you explain who your average fan is?
According to YouTube analytics, between like 18 and 24 years old.
That seems
male.
old.
Yeah, well, I'll get into that a bit.
Okay.
But actually, primarily from California, which is interesting. And I found this out after I booked this trip.
Oh, okay.
But I think that Odyssey Jam kind of confirmed it,
Yeah.
which was insane. My fans are typically, like YouTube said, it was like 18 to 24, but I think it's probably closer to like, 14 to 20. And I do think like a lot of people assume it's a lot of younger kids, which it was originally. But I think like as I've grown, because like obviously I've had people watching videos for quite some time, they've grown as well. And like I've even gone to a skate park and like had people older than me, like in their 20s, saying like, yeah, we watch your videos and stuff, which is weird.
I think
cool.
it's kind of like some people just get hooked on it in a sense where they start to watch it and then they kind of have like a reality TV type relationship with it
For
where
sure. 100%.
they kind of have to know what's going on or they want to know. Like I got into it when I went and stayed with you. We watched like 3 of the videos in a row and I saw Began and Alfredo like, oh, let's watch the next one. And they had never watched one previously.
Once you know like the people in the videos and because like there's commonalities, like Bert is my favorite character. My
Shout out to Bert.
Shout out to Bert.
Follow Bert.
Follow Bert. Robert BMX 895 on Instagram. Like Bert is my favorite.
Bert is my favorite as well.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it's just like me and my friends. Like typically it's been me, Bert, and Spencer, who's another one of my friends who's really funny and he's just insane on his bike.
Spencer is funny and Spencer is weird as hell. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he just learned hop 3-ups into a bank first try the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is insane. Like the things that he can do on a bike, like he could definitely be like Stevie Churchill level of riding if he like moved out here and rode. I mean, does ride every day.
I don't know about that. But yo,
just game of bike. We'll see.
Okay. So doing videos like the peanut butter and jelly pizza one, like what provoked you to do that? Like that's completely outside the realm of BMX. What made you think that might work well on your channel?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw my day in the life, but in my day in the life, like I had peanut butter jelly pizza in it because my girlfriend and I had made it because like Nicole is like a crazy fan of my girlfriend Nicole. She's a crazy fan.
We'll talk about her next.
Yeah. she's a crazy big fan of peanut butter. So one day I just like casually referenced it because I like pizza. I was like, oh, what if it was a peanut butter jelly pizza? Then we Googled it and it was an actual thing. We found a recipe and made it. And then we filmed my day in the life the next day, and I just wanted to show it. I was like, yeah, this is my peanut butter jelly pizza I made the other day. And so many people are like, make a how-to. And because they like kind of know our website style of videos, like that we can make something like that funny and entertaining, I was just like, all right, this is an awesome idea. Like I've been wanting to do a cooking show ever since we got like into our apartment with
because
Bert.
it just seems like something that anyone could kind of do is just show how to make something.
Not even that, just like I wish I could like just film anonymously without knowing because so much funny stuff happens just between me and Bert. Like I remember the first time I cooked, I just made such a mess and like we were like stirring with like guitars and
wait, but you don't put this in?
No, like this is like stuff like this happened before we even filmed.
You were stirring the
right,
food
well,
with a guitar.
No, well, like that's actually an extreme exaggeration.
I just stuttered multiple times because that's such a weird concept to me.
No, see what it was is I wasn't actually doing it, but I was thinking about doing it for a video. Which I mean, I totally just lied there, and we were just talking about how we do this on Twitter. You know, like you think of something in your head that would be extremely funny, and even though you don't actually do it, but like I don't know, I just made such a mess, and me and Bert are in there just like we're yelling things and rapping, and like we're not even filming.
I think that's part of what makes your whole little movement appeal to the kids so much is just like the relatability thing, like we said. But you're just very like silly, goofy on camera, you're funny or whatever. And I feel like younger kids, especially, they just see this and it's so different than like how most people in the BMX industry take themselves kind of seriously, right?
I mean, the goal with our videos is to not feel like we're filming a video, which is actually really tough to achieve.
Yeah.
Like when we film a webisode, the beginning is always really rough because it's super weird because you're trying to film a webisode and it just doesn't work. So like once you kind of break the ice,
you have to break through that for sure. Once you start getting people riding, because once you start to get one line, you start filming one person doing something, then everybody's going to start thinking of shit to do, and then it starts to actually go.
And it's not even actually the riding. It's like once one person starts having a really hard time landing a trick and starts like freaking out and,
you could just die right there, yeah. People don't understand how hard it is to pull off a good webisode.
Yeah, like it's super weird. But what I'm saying is like when someone doesn't land a trick, that's when the good video starts.
Oh, when people start to get angry?
Yeah, because that's, well, not even angry. That's when the funny stuff starts happening. Like when I'm falling on my ass 24/7 and I'm like starting, like that's when my ADHD goes off and I'm just starting to like freak out because I'm not landing the trick. Yeah. Like today I was like that at a point when I was trying to ice easy, but then like I got to a point where I just started getting aggravated. But definitely like the hyperactive, like funny stuff starts to come out when people start falling.
Yeah.
So
what would you describe as being your girlfriend's role in this whole little world that you have going here? What's her name again?
Nicole.
I'm just kidding. I hung out with her a bunch of times.
Well,
But
I mean, you keep on thinking her name is Lauren.
Well, because there's two different girls in your little world, and I feel like sometimes
Lauren does not exist.
I know Lauren, but
no, but that's not why Lauren is a thing. That was like
so what is the Lauren thing? The hashtag Lauren thing?
I really wanted to reveal this on one of my own videos.
Okay, hey, feel free, because I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, because this is honestly like it's a story that just doesn't have a place here.
Let's talk about Nicole. Can we show B-roll right here of her like dancing around dressed up like a fairy or something?
I don't have any of that.
Okay, but we can get it. How'd you meet her? A lot of people want to know about her because she's a big part of these videos. So how'd you meet her?
I mean, I met her in my psychology class. I didn't know where to go one day, and I asked her for directions. Like corny as that sounds.
Are you in love?
Yes.
How would you define love?
Are you really gonna pull this on me?
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know like how did this relationship get going?
I mean, like I definitely like didn't like her as much as I do now in the beginning. I think she definitely like felt more strongly about me in the beginning, but I feel like that's just how girls are in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's just I like couldn't picture myself with anyone else.
That's weird. Okay, but so
yeah, especially coming from you, like you just don't understand.
I could picture myself with someone else at any given time. Yeah, but so like that's the thing though. Is like, is it weird? Like, how did she start coming in your videos? Was it ever a thought like maybe I shouldn't put her out like this?
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't. I definitely did not want her in the videos at first. I don't even remember off the top of my head the first video she was in. She might have just been in the backseat of the car,
right?
And just like. She's really cool, and like we have such a good like communication. She just kind of knows me that I think a lot of videos I was just sarcastically kind of like making fun of her, just as like the girl in the back seat, and just like I would make a lot of like really snarky, if that's a word.
It is.
Yeah, I would make a lot of just remarks about her, like almost not mean, but like kind of like when you like back in high school, if you liked a girl, how you'd be kind of like mean to them, like kind of flirty wise.
And then you mean the more like kindergarten? Was sort of when you would chase each other around on the playground. That's
no, not even that. Like when you would kind of like make fun of a girl if you like her. Like,
yeah, but that still works to this day.
Yeah.
It's called, and in the pickup artist world, it's called negging. When you say something negative to a girl to provoke her interest.
Yeah. So
I'm not like into that, but I know that much.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't anything necessarily nasty, but like, I mean, she doesn't have any social media or anything, which is kind of weird, especially me, who is like a social.
And she comes from like a super traditional Christian family, and she's religious too, right? So she's not the type of person that wants to be. Your videos are very seedy. There's a lot of pornography. There's a lot of really inappropriate stuff, right? So is she weird about being in these?
I mean, the beginning, I think my videos have gotten like less like that.
I was just kidding. I was being totally sarcastic. Obviously, your videos are very wholesome.
Oh no, well, like the beginning videos that I had which was primarily more like with Cody and like my friend Jimmy Oakes. Shout out to Jimmy Oakes and like my friend Jake Zorn, and like they would love to like show their dick on camera and like.
You would put their dicks on YouTube.
No, I wouldn't actually put it in, but they would like to put them on. I think there's a few asses on YouTube.
Asses is one thing. Dick is a whole different thing.
But they make lots of like comments that are just like they're pretty out there, and like I would include them because they're mad funny, and like I mean I still think they're funny too, but I think just the people who I've started to hang out with, especially once I moved to Florida too, are just naturally like more clean cut people. So I feel like the videos have just gotten less edgy.
But do you feel like that is a strong suit for you? Is that you appeal to the kids who are younger and they don't smoke weed and they don't drink and they don't know about this stuff? So to them, you kind of seem like you're a lot more like them than the average pro BMX rider.
I'll tell you right now, from like as soon as I started getting traction with YouTube videos, I've always made it like a super important thing for myself to like be a good role model and set a good example.
And do you think that's very out of the ordinary in BMX these days, right?
Yeah, because like people are always just trying to like look cool and stuff, and I'm not really trying to do that. I think it's because like I grew up raising like a lot of like nephews and nieces and like a lot of younger people that I know are impressionable, and just like I just saw firsthand like what affected me when I was younger, and like if I looked up to a certain rider and saw them doing something, then I would want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And like I just took it upon myself, like even if if I did something bad, I wouldn't include certain things in videos because I know kids go and imitate that.
Yeah.
Like I would watch Jackass videos when I was younger, and I would go out and try some of the shit on Jackass.
Yeah.
Not saying that Jackass is like anything horrible, but like you can get pretty hurt, like or just doing dumb stuff or get arrested. And
see, that's what's funny about us is like we are, I guess, the two biggest BMX YouTube channels, but we have two very different outlooks on how to handle that sort of thing because your attitude is like I'm going to present, even if there is something fucked up going on, or like even today we're doing the game of bike. Caleb smoked cigarettes, and you were like, try to hold the cigarette off camera, like when we're talking on camera or whatever. But I think that's a completely fair way to handle it. My way of handling it, like we did the vegan game of bike the vegan day in the life the other day, and I kept telling Nate, I'm like, don't film him smoking weed, don't film him rolling up weed, because it's like a day in the life of a young pro rider like that. It just seems like, oh, this is like, I guess at some point we should stop showing weed like that much in videos. Like maybe we can allude to it a little bit, but it's just sort of like, but that's the thing with us is that we smoke so much weed. That's a huge pain in the ass to keep the weed off camera.
Yeah, and I definitely see that. I mean, it definitely helps that like I don't really smoke weed or do anything like that, so it's not really difficult for me to not have it in videos. So, I mean, I can definitely see where that's a bit more difficult for you, but I think just kind of what's happened is because I try to set a good example, I've kind of just like started to live in that role, if you will. So I kind of like put this pressure upon myself just from my own doing that just kind of makes me stay true to it.
Huh.
If that makes any sense.
Are you straight edge?
I'm pretty straight edge. Like, I don't really drink or smoke. I've tried things in the past, but just nothing really ever. Like, I just never had a need for it, or like, I don't know. I think some people, like, they're into that and, like, that's their thing. At first, honestly, I was like very, very, like, I would get really angry with someone if they smoked. I just kind of saw it as the devil, just because, like, I had friends and there was always a reason why people stopped riding. And I think you can agree with me that, like, one of them was always drugs.
Drugs, cars, and girls.
Girls, yeah. I think these are like the three most common things. And you've talked about this in other podcasts. And like a lot of my friends that I grew up starting riding, because like there was a pretty decent scene. I mean, like for me, a decent scene was like, maybe like 10 people in a small town that rode bikes.
Yeah, but, same with me. That was pretty much what I was working with.
But like once we got into high school and like people started experimenting with drugs and stuff, turned into me and my friend Cody. Like that was it.
Yeah.
And like, so just whenever I saw someone doing that, I was like, oh, you're screwing up your life. You're screwing up your life. But I feel like once I got into like a later high school thing, and I think like it kind of is true. Like if people get into it at an older age, I don't think it has that much of an effect on their life.
When people start smoking weed when they're 15 or whatever, it definitely like your brain is still forming at that point. It has like,
and like if you're hanging out with those type of people too that early, and I'm not saying anything bad against that type of people. Like,
if there's a 15-year-old around me, I do not want him smoking weed around me, especially that pisses me off. And
so if you think about it, if like you were the type of person that wanted a 15-year-old around you smoking weed, then something would be effed up with you, and then that would rub off on that kid.
I even feel weird when like I have like somebody like. I guess I can't name them because they got corporate sponsors, but I've got like friends who are like 16 and I knew them a year ago when they didn't do anything, and now I know them and they drink and they fucking smoke, and it's like very rarely a positive impact on somebody's life overall. Like,
I know some like younger riders too that are like get into that, and you can definitely see it like affect them.
And so do you get messages from your fans saying that they're like very thankful for you for presenting a good image?
Dude, you have no idea how many moms have like emailed me, and I've gotten messages from parents. I've had people walk up to me in Texas and Connecticut and Florida, like parents just thanking me for like just kind of like doing my own thing and just like kind of setting a good example and like actually caring.
Yeah.
So which is definitely like, again, reasserts what I'm doing and just kind of like further pushes me into kind of just maintaining the clean image.
But I think that's a good category for you to be in, especially because you're pretty authentic with it. I mean, I've hung out with you a lot, and it's not like you're doing heroin on the side or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. It's just, I just don't think there's like a need for it for me.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you're very young too. So how old are you? 20?
19.
19. That's insane.
Yeah.
I can't even wrap my fucking head around the fact that you're 12 years younger than me.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, huh?
That's fucked.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I wonder, when I turn 22, am I going to be the new Adam 22 and you'll be Adam 32?
But see, I've been Adam 22 since I was 16. So it was just a random screen name. Everybody always asks me that, so I'll just say that it was just a random screen name. It doesn't mean anything. Why do you feel like you're accepted by the BMX industry?
Honestly, I feel like after we started working together a bit more, way more so than it was originally.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like before, when I was a younger kid, like even when I would get a little bit of posted, there's just so much animosity and so much hate, and especially like we kind of had like fake beef going on for a while.
We would joke around with each other on Twitter, and people would think we really hated each other.
Yeah, this was like after the interview, once like we had started talking. But yeah, we would joke around a lot, and I feel like what happened was a lot of your fans would think that like, okay, Adam 22 doesn't like Adam LZ, so therefore we must not like Adam LZ either. And I feel like that just really escalated quickly because like obviously we were talking about how people are so impressionable. So if they see that you don't like me, they're gonna like fit into that role even more. Yeah.
So, but so you feel like you've kind of gotten more support and everything the past couple of years?
100%. Like the level of hate that I get now is so little to what I used to get.
Really? What was the hate based on early on, you think?
I mean, it was even just little things like people, like I said, I've made videos and like, when I started writing, people just be like, oh, you suck. Why are you getting this many videos? Like I've had people tell me to go hang myself and like die.
Really?
Yeah. Just like, I mean, I think that was a lot like YouTube in its earlier days was way more transparent and anonymous. And even the come up was more anonymous.
Right.
So I feel like anonymous comments are just kind of dying out. So there's less hate in that sense. But I mean, I still get it. And it's like people try to hide too. I think another thing is just how like transparent the internet is. Like people talk shit. Like I just had, one of the trail websites like post one of our webisodes like talking a lot of shit for like
Can You Dig It, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really.
I forget one of them.
Yeah. I didn't really want to drop any names or anything, but they just they saw one of our videos and like I talked to one of the guys too. I guess one of the guys whose trails we rode like had a problem with us, but like didn't really like communicate it well at the time, which I mean kind of sucks because like he was a super nice guy, like he let us ride and everything. But I mean I talked with him after the fact and we were all cool. But what I think it is like if you're going to talk shit about me or just anyone in general, they're going to find out about it with the internet now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't hide it.
Much less anonymous now. Like, who's going to go make a fake Twitter just to fucking drum up some shit? Nobody's going to see it, whatever.
How often do you search your name on Twitter?
It doesn't work. Like I've tried.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like I used to be able to do it like a few years ago, and it
Yeah.
would actually work. And back then, I would maybe do it every couple months or something. But like, if you search Adam 22, it's just all like random. Like it's in people's screen names
Oh yeah, that's
who
really
have
weird.
that in their name.
Oh
so
yeah,
all,
that's a bit tougher for you. For me, it's really
Yeah.
easy. Like I'll search my name on Twitter once in a while,
okay, yeah.
and I can see like whenever people indirect tweet about me.
Yeah.
Which is funny because there used to be so much shit, and like I saw what you would do. You would always just retweet your haters, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, I love
so I
that.
would do the same thing, and a lot of times like what either my fans would respond or just like me retweeting it almost. I don't want to say belittles them, but it just
Yeah,
kind of makes
yeah.
them look like an idiot.
Well, it's just like, hey, it's
they're
funny.
trying
Like,
to,
yeah.
and they're trying to do it under the radar too, and then
Yeah,
like
that's
that's just
the best.
showing like that I saw it. Like you just messed up.
I love that. I love just calling attention to the fact that I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me and that I'm just laughing at you talking about me. Yeah, yeah.
For sure. And I think a lot of it, like I said before, like when they think it's a cool thing to hate me, everyone tweets like that they don't like something about me just because they know it'll get a lot of favorites.
Really?
You know? Yeah. Because I feel like for a while I was like super like people either like hate me.
What do you think it is about
Don't like me.
your videos that makes people feel so polarized?
Well, one thing that you were mentioning before is like kind of in webisodes, I guess you can kind of get the vibe that I'm a bit cocky or like kind of.
Do you consider yourself cocky?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not saying in that sense even. It's just the fact that I'm very like pronounced. Like I talk a lot on video.
You do
like,
talk a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, in videos, like
Yeah.
I mean, the spotlight is kind of on me, where most riders are kind of, you know, like they're chill, they're behind the scenes. I mean, that's just kind of what my YouTube is, and people from the outside that just don't understand that, they kind of get the representation. Like, I mean, I was so quiet this whole week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I barely spoke with everyone else because I don't know anyone. But like when I'm with my friends, obviously I'm having a good time. I'm being loud and annoying, but like that's cool because they understand that.
Yeah, that is kind of the weird thing about what you do, and to a extent what I do is like in BMX, it's not really considered cool to go and just make videos about yourself. But I mean, you did it. I fucking basically do it when we do, you know, Instagram Slam or whatever, and it's me standing there telling people to do tricks or whatever. I mean, putting yourself out like that, it takes a lot of. I mean, it's a very bold thing to do, basically.
It's so
and
awkward to
It's
this
scary, yeah, like to put yourself out there. Because think about it, when I do TCU TV, I'm actually saying to the world, hey, I think that I'm so interesting and so smart that you should sit there for an hour and a half and listen to me talk to somebody else. That is kind of an audacious thing to essentially be saying to the world, but you know, I got to do it. Like I don't consider myself to be super cocky or whatever. It's just like, you know, if you want to at something, you know, if you were going to write a book, you got to sit down at some point and write a book and say, hey, I'm worthy of contributing something to this world.
For sure, I would love to write a book.
Yeah.
I just don't have
Fuck
time
that,
for
though.
it.
You can't put it on YouTube. How many views is it going to get?
I could read it on YouTube, and then no one would buy the book.
No, I think that would be way better. That's what I actually kind of plan on doing is I want to start writing things and then illustrating them and then putting them on YouTube like that because I don't.
like little pretty like cartoon pictures. And
I can kind of draw, so I kind of
oh
like.
no, you can, which is sick.
a little bit.
Like
but
yeah, I was seeing some of your scribbles before. They're kind of cool.
thanks, pal.
Yeah.
What do you think of all the people that you were on this trip with for the past couple weeks?
It's super interesting people. Like such a like interesting crew. Like everyone was super different. A couple things that kind of stood out to me. Like I had never really heard of Nick Castillo before, but he did some of the most insane like curved wall ride stuff I've ever seen. And Dylan Lloyd is really funny. Like he's a
Yes.
super funny guy, and he has such a unique personality. And I just thought that was like really sick because I hadn't really heard about him much. And he's like insane too.
Yeah.
Like one of the tricks he did out of this bank fakie, like the first day that I ever saw him ride was just nuts.
Yeah.
I thought he was joking around when he said he was going to do it.
What about David Grant? You guys kind of seem like you butted heads a little bit.
I don't think he really liked me at first, and I
I don't think he likes me either, and I hang out with him all the time.
I still don't know if he likes me to this day because he's like one of those people like he's either like joking around and laughing with you or like
Yeah.
you just really get on his nerves.
He's got a very sardonic sense of humor, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny though. I like the way he always mocks me.
But was it cool for you because Chris Kyle and Alex Donachie, they don't smoke weed or anything, so you had some, you know, is it
Yeah.
weird for you being around people who smoke weed all the time?
I think it would have been like 2 or 3 years ago, but I've obviously like if you go to skate parks, especially in Connecticut, like it's everywhere. Like you kind of learn to just deal with it, and it's like I said, I wasn't as like if I was a bit younger, I think I would be like a bit like more scared about it. But now I kind of understand a bit more, and like it doesn't bother me as much. Obviously, I don't want to be like in a car like cooped up with smoke and all that crap.
But which you were much of this trip.
I mean, to a certain extent, like they were nice enough to like have the decency to like say, okay, yeah, all you nerds, as they called me, Chris and Alex, like we got our own row of seating, and then they all did their smoking business.
That's good too, because nobody wants to be passing the blunt back and forth over non-smokers. It becomes very confusing, you know. That's why I say get in the back of the bus, nerds. Get in the back of the bus.
Oh, you say it too?
Now that you say it like that, it sounds like a good thing to say. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with it.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean that was cool. Like not being the only person because that'd be a bit weird. So like we just I don't know like
Well, that's good too. But I mean, I know how you feel because I'm not really into drinking. Like I only drink once in a while, and I'm around people who are drunk all the fucking time, and I find it annoying. But I don't, you get used to it as you get older. You got to be around people who are doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
What how do you feel about sponsorship? Because that's one thing that your fans constantly ask about is like, why aren't you sponsored? Why aren't you pro? What are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts. Well, number one, the industry has no fucking clue what the fuck your whole deal is. Like they don't understand because I know when I found out about you, you maybe only had like 20,000 subscribers or something. And somebody referred to you in like a video description on some other site, like YouTube phenomenon, Adam LZ. And
That was on your own site, Adam.
It was one of my employees writing this? Okay.
I think it was Sauce.
Shit. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. See, Sauce probably would have known about you before me. It makes sense. So I just read it and I was like, YouTube phenomenon. So I Googled it, saw that you had this crazy following, and it took a while for me to really be able to process it. Hopefully this interview assists with that a little bit. But I mean, yeah, I was just, I was confused because this is so different. Like the way that you make money or the way that you are able to essentially be a pro BMX rider is so out of left field in comparison to the shitty model that we have now of like riders just getting sponsored, which we all know is not doing terribly well right now. It's very hard for a BMX rider to make a living from riding. But I mean, that's the first part of it is just that you have this insane business model where you're making money from your clothing line and YouTube and everything like that. So that's for starters. And then second is that your image is completely different than the average BMX team. Like
for sure,
right off the gate, like a lot of BMX companies kind of have like a dark image. But that to me is what you've captured on. And this is why I'm telling you that I don't think you need a fucking sponsor. And I just don't think it matters. Like you already make enough money from YouTube and stuff that a sponsor would be kind of whatever.
It's not even about the money, I think. I just feel like that's almost like one of those things where like kids feel like, you haven't really made it in BMX until you have a sponsor. So I almost feel like it's like a title, I guess.
Right, but I like that you are kind of evading that because
and for sure. And I think the fact that I have been unsponsored and stuff does kind of add to the relatability that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool in that sense.
Yeah. I just keep glancing over at the camera to make sure it's...
Yeah, I know.
So you've had offers or opportunities in the past to get hooked up by different companies. What was wrong with those offers from your perspective?
So the first company that I actually rode for was Loyal Clothing, and like they were just like a typical, like streetwear clothing company. I think they were like Colorado, and they were one of the first people to kind of like see that I had something going on, and they hit me up and asked if I wanted to like rep the clothing, and they sent me like 3 or 4 shirts. I repped them, and it was cool and everything. Like the guy was super nice, Chris Adams. And we had like a pretty decent relationship. They obviously didn't do much for me, but it was just cool. Like every kid wants to say that they're sponsored and just have like some sort of title at the beginning and ending of videos because it's a cool thing to do. It's what all the pros you look up to.
See, if I was a kid, I would way rather put my videos out without any logos.
Yeah, well, you're a weird kid.
But I also have a weird perspective on this because I have to put logos in.
Anyway, so yeah, I was riding for them, and I kind of slowly realized that like I was driving like 90% of their sales, and I might be wrong about this, but I knew I was driving a significant portion of their sales, and I just didn't really feel like I was getting that much out of it. And I slowly learned. I think I started doing my shirt thing quite a bit after, but I kind of realized that like they were putting very little into me, and I was giving them a lot in return. And like, when I would ask for shirts and it would just kind of get frustrating when they wouldn't hit me back with stuff. And my friend Cody, actually, he was talking about doing his clothing company at the time. He had like this idea, I forget what it was, but he wanted to make his own clothing company. So I just kind of left Loyal, just assuming that Cody was going to follow through what he was doing. And then my shirt stuff came shortly after. And then like that's when it really took off.
Do you feel disloyal to Cody?
It's funny because like I was sponsored by a clothing company called Loyal, and then I left it.
Very disloyal.
But like no, but I mean Cody never like he never started his own clothing company, so that's not like something. But
so say that X BMX company right now comes to you and they say like,
oh well, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention there was also another like pretty big BMX company that did give me a contract to ride for them. Like I think it was like 3 years ago.
But it was bullshit, right?
Yeah, like basically it was like, all right, we see you have a sick following, we're gonna hook you up with like parts. And we want to take advantage of every single thing that you have. Yeah. And like all I wanted from them, like my main things were like, I want you to guarantee me that you're gonna at least try to send me on one trip. All right, that's what I want. And like I just want to know like that you have some sort of forward plan in BMX. Like I had already done my own thing with clothing, so I knew a lot about the back end, and I knew like that their cost of the parts wasn't really that much going into it. Yeah. So I wanted to know that like they valued me more than just using me for my following. So like I wanted to know that they were going to actually try to do something cool. They were going to try to send me on a trip, or at least even like I talked to them like let's put on a local jam, like let's do something cool because it was a local company. and just they just didn't really have like much going on at the time. They didn't seem like they had all their stuff together. And I just felt like it was better to just keep doing my own thing. Like I could afford bike parts. It was more just like I really wanted not the image of being sponsored, but I just wanted a partnership with a company that wants to do cool stuff. Like I think it'd be sick having a signature part, not even for the money, just because like so many kids buy and like ride the stuff that I ride, that it would just be way cooler to have a partnership with a company that supports me so I can give back to them.
So do you see yourself as being completely outside of the BMX industry in a sense, and that's why your fans love you so much, is because you sort of like operate on this totally different wavelength?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I think I get more and more pushed outside of BMX. I think what it is, honestly, like with my like clothing company and with YouTube and with school and now a girlfriend, I literally like I am so scheduled with my time that I have so little time that honestly I probably went a couple months without like ever watching like a good BMX video, which is crazy. And I realized that, and my riding was kind of declining because like you get ideas from watching other people's videos. But I'm very isolated, and I don't watch every video on the come up. I probably don't even check the come up more than once a week. And
wow, that's harsh.
Yeah, I mean, I see videos like I will watch videos if it's someone that I know, or if it's like there's like probably like maybe like 3 or 4 riders whose names pop up, and I see it's like, oh, I really want to go watch a video that I don't know. Like obviously, I'll watch a Stevie video any day because I know Stevie. Or like I'll watch like if my friend Cody put up a video, I will watch that. But like I mean, if Nick Castillo uploaded a video, and
you wouldn't have known beforehand. That's what's so tough about the internet in general, is it's so hard to find to make stars or to make riders, like to make people know how good they are. Because like Nick is as good as a lot of pro riders, but I mean, how do you go from ground zero in terms of promoting him to get to the point where everybody understands? It's very difficult to pull this off.
Yeah, and I think it's something that there are some people like you did it with Stevie and Began. And I kind of did it with myself, learning like I feel
like I did it with Began. With Stevie, he was already like,
this is true.
Yeah, I promoted the shit out of Began, but like that thing with Began is like I met Began and I was like, okay, this kid, like I got along with him really good, but then I was also like, oh, this kid could be something like
really well.
Really well. You're right. What's your relationship with Began and Stevie? Because you're from Connecticut, where they're from.
I mean, I didn't really ever have like that much of a relationship. Like Stevie actually taught me like some of my like. Like he taught me whips, and I think he definitely helped me with trucks and stuff. Like, cause back at Haven Skate Park, we would ride, and like I didn't really know him that well. It's not like we were like best buddies or anything.
And this is before he was super well known, probably too, right?
No, I didn't really start seeing him until after like his first like little Stevie edit dropped. Yeah. But they would help me do tricks and stuff. Oh, well, not Began. But I mean, Began, it was funny because like me and Began were on the same skill level, where Stevie was like this like insane pro monster even back then.
Yeah.
Where me and Began were kind of the same level, like we were learning bars and stuff together, and Began was always like the style cat, doing everything like landing all smooth.
Was he really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, not that many people know that Began used to ride like a free coaster way back and had like brakes and a gyro and rode trails and was all into that. But I mean, like he was always like too cool, I guess.
He always was like that because he's like that now too.
Yeah, no, and especially he like, oh my god, the amount of things that kid has said to me, or just the stuff that he's posted on the internet and the amount of shit he's talked.
And so how do you hang out with Began now and be cool with him, even though he in the past has done all these fucked up things to you or whatever? Or just talk shit, basically. Like,
I mean, obviously, it still bothers me to a certain extent, but like you said it before, the BMX world's too small to have beef.
Yeah.
Like, you guys coming to Florida wouldn't have happened if, like, we didn't just clean the slate.
Yeah, that was what's funny is, like, even though he supposedly had these problems with you or whatever, I was just like, yo, you want to go to Florida? He's like, yeah, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, and I told you, I never really had a problem with Began, like, directly. Like, I don't really not like people. It's just, like, obviously it's going to be weird when this, like, dude's been talking so much crap about me, and, like, then we go to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel weird about the image that somebody like Began gives off?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like...
Do you think this is bad for kids on average?
Yeah, 100%.
But, like, what aspect of it?
I mean, everybody knows that Began smokes a lot of weed. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not a question. We were just scrolling through your Snapchat a little bit ago, and we saw kids sending you pictures of them
on some shit.com, by the way.
They send you pictures of them doing drugs and all this other stuff, like some really bad stuff even.
True.
And just because they know that's what you like and they think it's cool, and they're like searching for acceptance.
I don't like it that much. I just get it.
I know. But like these young kids, like they're at a point where like they're trying to find their niche. They're trying to find what's cool. And like I'm sure Began gets so many kids sending him pictures of like them smoking weed and stuff. Mm. And just like they're like Began's a really good rider. Don't get me wrong. Like he's got a super unique style. And like kids will think like, okay, well it must be because he smokes weed, or I mean,
that's a weird conclusion to draw. But
I definitely know quite a few people that have tried weed or even like thought about it just because of a certain rider.
See, that to me, like our different YouTube channels, we basically have two different mentalities on how we present ourselves. And yours is like, I'm going to be a good role model, which actually works really well for you because even if they filmed you 24/7, you'd be a pretty good role model. But then with like me and Began, like I said to him at one point where he was like, do you think I should stop putting weed on Instagram or whatever? And I was like, listen.
Oh my God, his Instagram.
I was like, put whatever the fuck you want on there. Be yourself. I'm like, I told him, I'm like, you're never going to be on an energy drink and you're never going to be in the X Games. So you might as well just be your fucking self because kids are going to love you for being yourself. And that's always the attitude I've had is like, yeah, I could do more to be a better role model. But like, there's already a bunch of shit that I like. Began would never put some of the drugs that he is around, like not that he's even doing them, but that he's around people who are doing certain things and all this type of stuff. Like he already knows that there's like a limit to what you can put online. And like, it's not like that in rap, you know. In rap, it's like no big deal for there to be coke around or whatever. It's like, but I mean, in BMX, it's just like the audience is too young. That even the weed thing, we get so much shit for it.
I bet. And I think another thing too that you got to realize is like he just I don't even know what I was going to say.
He's got colored tires.
Yeah, no, he's got. Oh, that's what I was going to say. It's like what I think a lot of people don't realize is there's like an image. And like you kind of have to create an image around yourself and be consistent with it. And like this sounds like a foreign topic, like you're saying like be yourself and everything. Like if you think about it, every rider has something that kind of makes them who they are.
Yeah.
Like if you think of Began, you think of like weed and really ugly bikes. And then
I like his bikes.
Yeah, whatever. And like think about Tommy Dugan. Like if I went up to a kid at a skate park and asked him about Tommy Dugan, I guarantee you they would say Dr. Pepper because of that one video.
Yeah.
And like that one line, just like every single person kind of has to like just find their own thing, and you just gotta kind of be consistent.
It's just that people end up breaking very, very complicated human beings down into very, very simple roles. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what's kind of crazy about it is that like, yeah, I mean, like when if you ask some random kid at a skate park like, "What's up with Brandon Began?" he would probably be like, "Oh, El Toro hit his head. He's a pothead. Whatever."
Yeah.
When they talk about you, it's probably like, "Oh, he's funny. He makes funny videos." Like the people aren't capable of consuming huge amounts of information to make accurate depictions of people.
And I think people see something once and they just assume that it's like crazy. Like so many people think I'm such a killer fan of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, what is that? How did that start? I like her too, but
I like her. I mean, a lot of it's like Nicole likes her,
right?
So like I kind of like her through Nicole, but really what it is just like I think it'd be sick to meet her. Like I really actually look up to Taylor Swift in a way of how she interacts with her fans.
Really?
Because think about it, she's one of the biggest artists right now. And she still has such a good connection with her fans. And I see this through my girlfriend, who's like such a crazy Taylor Swift fan, like more crazy than my followers are of me. And obviously, like with music, it's a bit different. But like she does all these little things, like meetups with fans, and she makes these videos just like doing like funny stuff. Like she uploaded a picture today on Instagram of her leg being scratched from her cat, and it's like, "Oh no, catty, now you owe me like $40 million" or something dumb like that. But still, it's just those little dumb things that kind of like humanize her. And I think she's done such a good job at like being this relatable, super artist.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I love her. Like,
it's a tough role to pull
she's
off.
Pretty. Like, I would totally leave my girlfriend for her.
Would you?
Yeah. And
Nice.
Nicole said that's fine.
I would leave probably your girlfriend for Taylor Swift too, even though I'm very attracted. I think your girlfriend's super cute.
Oh yeah, and her
But for Taylor Swift,
personality wise,
this seems kind of unfair for her to be competing directly against Taylor Swift for your heart.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet Taylor Swift.
Really? Yeah, that's one thing that Adam LZ asked me when he showed up. He just goes, "So I know you know some famous people. Do you know anyone who hangs out with Taylor Swift?" I'm like,
I'm still struggling to find a connection.
That's a different level of fame.
I know one person that has her number.
Really? Oh, you told me about this. Yeah.
But I just it's like he doesn't really know her well enough to actually get me in contact with her.
Like, hey, you want to hang out with this YouTube kid?
But I mean, honestly, like that kind of just gives me a reason to keep growing my channel to find a way to like meet Taylor.
If you get big enough, you might be able to meet Taylor Swift. It's not about the money; it's about the celebrities.
Yeah, no, and it's not just that. Like, I think the bigger you get, the more you meet people, and you even know that's like you hang out with Chief Keef and all these people.
I don't like hang out with Chief Keef. I've like been around Chief Keef, but not like
you're like. Oh my god, the other day I was like in Hawaii and I saw him eating Haagen-Dazs.
No, I saw Chris Brown at a Haagen-Dazs in Hawaii. That is true though.
Yeah, so
I've hung out with Chris Brown a little bit too, which is
yeah.
I mean, not enough to really, I don't know him, but
I've never really hung out with any celebrities.
No, you hung out with me and Stevie, Chris Kyle. That's celebrities, right?
I mean, like. I'm not saying like outside of BMX.
I'm disappointed you didn't get to meet Xavier because you need to meet a rapper. That's like, it would just blow your mind how fucking crazy some of these rap guys that we know are. It would just, I know you'd think it was hilarious.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So I understand that it's very hard for you to balance college and riding and doing this online store and making YouTube videos. How do you pull all this off?
Time management.
Okay.
So, I mean, I had a course, it's called Cornerstone, that actually there was a whole like section on time management, which gave quite a bit of stuff that I can help. But I'll tell you right now, the thing that I'm doing that most people that are watching this video probably aren't doing, I'm not watching any TV. I told you I wasn't really watching any BMX videos. Like, if you want to like do something, like you need to dedicate yourself.
If you want to produce, you need to consume less.
Yeah,
that's why I don't have a TV. I don't want a TV. I listen to podcasts here and there. I listen to music, but I don't I don't play video games. I don't waste time laying on the couch sleeping absurd amounts of time. Like this last semester has been so difficult for me because not that school's been getting easier, but I've just so much else that's been going on. Like my business has been like the clothing stuff has been blowing up to insane proportions to where it's demanding so much time out of me that I'm even having a hard time finding time to ride, which is like not what I want to do. But I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But really it is like just managing your time extremely well. Like I'm always trying to give 100% on everything that I do. When I'm doing homework, I'm trying to focus as much as I can so I can get that knocked out, and then I can work on a video, and then I can get that video uploaded, and then when that's done, like even to the point where like when I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, like we don't really do typical like boyfriend girlfriend stuff. Like she's helping me fold shirts, she's helping me do business stuff, which I don't even like sometimes. But it's just like if I want to keep moving forward and like doing what I'm doing and try to like keep growing and getting to another level, like you really got to work so hard. And I mean, like just with business stuff, I'm always putting 100% in. And same thing, like with college, I'm going to school for business management now. Originally, I was going to school for mechanical engineering. And you didn't care for that too much?
Basically what it was, I'm like really good at math and like science type based stuff. And all my teachers basically forced me to become a mechanical engineer because that's like, I kill it at that type of stuff. And when I got into it, I realized like what I was going for mechanical engineering, believe it or not, I've always wanted to own a bike shop. And when I went into mechanical engineering, I was basically telling myself like, all right, this is how I'm going to get startup capital so then I can go and start a business. And then as I got into it, I was already making like a decent amount of money through my clothing stuff. And I kind of realized that like my passion was not in engineering at all. Like I did not want to work for someone. I don't want to work for a company. I don't want to do paperwork. I don't want to do any of that crap. I want to do my own thing. And I kind of realized like, all right, I can go to school for business management. Like specifically, I'm going to school for entrepreneurship.
And so the stuff that you learn in school right now really helps you with the business that you're running right now?
It is so awesome, like having what I'm learning,
that's
like
awesome.
Being directly related to what I'm doing. So like I'm learning about marketing and I'm going home and I'm applying that.
Yeah.
Which is so valuable.
It must be hilarious though, because you must know so much more about marketing than a lot of your teachers, at least in a specific regard.
Yeah, and especially like students too.
Because you're living it. Like they're teaching you how to market. You're out here doing it. You've already been more successful than the vast majority of brands ever will be. So
yeah, and it's cool because like honestly, I think I've learned probably more in let's say 3 months of operating than I probably will in all of school.
Yeah.
But there's just like lots of little things you make. And I really feel like I'm not getting as much out of school as I could right now. And that's like one of the things we were talking about, like, well, do you have the potential to drop out? Well, like for me, like dropping out and everything, obviously I can learn way more with what I'm doing now. And school is definitely holding me back as like school's a super like time drag. But I think there's a couple of reasons why I'm staying in school. One, obviously Nicole is also in college. So like it's kind of cool to be on the same like schedule with her and like also in school. And like we'll be graduating around the same time. Two, the whole example thing. Like I really pride myself on setting a good example. And like if I drop out of school, obviously my reasons will be justified. And like when I explain like money wise, like if I dropped out of school right now and like I took what I'm doing full time and like I really put in 100% effort to what I'm doing, I could definitely be making some good money. But at the same time, like I could do that and I could make a decent amount of money. But at the same time, like I should continue through with school and finish it off because I think I probably will learn some more things. And just like setting that example, like people don't realize the opportunities that I have. Like, I could be traveling and like meeting these kids is so invaluable or valuable, right?
Invaluable.
Yeah. So it's so
valuable. Actually, they mean the same thing.
It's so valuable that we can't even put a value on it.
Yeah. There's no value.
Yeah. So
like, I have no values.
So school really holds me back a lot. Like I can't be traveling. I can't be riding as much as I'd like to. But again, like I want to set a good example because if I quit school and then other kids might. So.
Yeah. How would you explain to like say an average Adam LZ fan hits you up like I'm 18, I just finished high school, my parents want me to go to college, I don't know what the fuck I want to do. What would you say?
College is really sick just because like I think you really get to figure out who you are, and I feel like college is just the whole like living on your own thing. If you're living at home and going to college, I really don't think you get the full experience. But I think it's a really great transition into the real world. Like you're not just all of a sudden like out like working a job. Like you're kind of in school still, but you have more free time, so you learn to do with it. Some kids screw up and they just blow their free time partying or just doing dumb stuff. And then me, like I've been working so hard with my free time that like I mean, I find a hard time just even calling my parents back sometimes, which is like sounds kind of shitty, but
Oh, I'm in the same boat.
like I have a hard time just maintaining relationships with friends. Like my social life right now is kind of crappy.
Because I think me and you both at a certain point just decided like, oh, okay, like once you realize you have a purpose, you're on a mission, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make this huge. Like when I really made that decision with the come up, everything else in my life got turned off to a big extent. And my friends and my family know that. Or if I'm seeing a girl, like she knows that she comes absolutely after everything business wise, and that's just how it goes.
For sure. And like that's one of the cool things about Nicole that I didn't really mention before is that she's super supportive of what I do, and she's always been from the beginning. And I feel like girls a lot of times are seen to like not take BMX seriously and will kind of like be like, all right, well you shouldn't be riding, and like, you know, I'd rather you be hanging out with me.
As soon as they start trying to hold you back from the things you want to accomplish in life, you got to get rid of them so fast.
Dude, like she encourages me to go riding days where I would just rather like not. Which is weird.
Yeah, she told me about this, that she will kind of make you go riding.
Yeah, which is so sick because she knows like when I'm getting lazy or when I kind of need to be pushed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, as weird as it sounds, like I can kind of relate that to how Cody was, because Cody knew what I was capable of and he knew what tricks I could do. Because I can tell you right now, there's like such crazy stuff that I probably could be doing, but just in my head, I just convinced myself out of it. Like BMX is super mind game for me. And like he would be that like person that would push me like, oh dude, you can fucking do this. Like, what are you wasting your time for, fucking pussy? And like stuff like that, and it would push me. And you know, Nicole helps a lot in that sense, to kind of just push me to ride harder.
Is it weird for you being around all these college kids that have no fucking ambition and have no idea what they're doing with their lives?
Dude, it drives me insane.
Because that's what I hate about colleges. Even when I go there to ride, is I'm just looking at these people like, what the fuck,
dude,
idiots.
It's like, what do you... I mean, it's kind of weird, but ever since like I kind of started doing my own thing with BMX, like I definitely, it's sick to have like to figure out who you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like when you can walk through the hallways and just kind of know who you are, and like that you just like, you're like, all right, I'm doing something with my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing something that is such a like, you just like you're on a different level, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like you're on the self-fulfillment.
Because there's two different ways of life. There's the way of life of thinking, what the fuck am I doing on Earth? And then there's the way of life of like, you know, I might not know everything about what I'm doing on Earth, but I'm at least confident enough that I'm working towards it. And it's two very different stages in your life. That weird thing about you, there's a quote that they always say, is they say your 20s are for experimentation, and your 30s, by the time you're in your 30s, you should already know what you want to do with your life, and then you're working at, you know, being good at it or improving at it or whatever. The really weird thing about you is that you're 19 and you already seem like you're well on this path. I mean, I was 22 when I started to come up, so it's sort of similar.
And like I kind of regret that in a sense, because I'm missing out on a lot of the, like, I don't want to say ignorant, but just a lot of like the cool things, like just going out and doing dumb stuff and having fun and all the good times that like a lot of kids get into, just because I feel like I'm at a mindset of someone a bit older than me. So I don't have fun like going out and just, you know, walking to McDonald's at 2 a.m. because I'm like, oh, well, I could be getting better sleep so I can be more productive the next day towards making more videos and doing this stuff, which is cool because that keeps on pushing me to another level, but I feel like I do miss out on a bit because of it.
You can't get caught in the mentality, this is my personal advice to you, you can't get caught in the mentality of like, oh, I want to be a normal person. Yeah. You know, like you can't be like, oh, all my friends, they go to the bar 4 nights a week and they do this, that, and that. It's like, for me, like I operate on almost no sleep all the time.
Dude, how much sleep do you normally get?
Not a lot. Like, no, I do manage to get sleep here, but I mean, to this sense, like I slept like 3 hours last night, and then I went and rode for 10 hours, and now I'm up till it's currently 2 in the morning, and we're finishing this.
It's 2 in the morning?
It might be 1 in the morning. I don't know if this clock's right.
It's definitely not right.
It's 12:30.
Okay. Yeah.
But either way, I mean, this is not a normal
I got a flight tomorrow.
It's not a normal thing to be on 3 hours sleep and to go work for like 15 hours straight. But I mean, we
both do it.
I've decided in my head, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm fucking, and you know.
I think one of the like the pivoting points in my life was definitely taking microeconomics, because that class kind of like made me put a dollar value on time. Everything is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost this, opportunity cost that. So like I'd be constantly thinking like, okay, well, you know, I'm doing this, but I'm missing out when I could be doing this. And just that concept, when you really like wrap your head around it, that's what made me start managing my time really well. And I really think like if you guys have an opportunity to take a microeconomics class, like it's probably one of the best things you can do. That's
cool you said it, because that was one of the only classes I took. And I only went to college for like a year and a half, but that was one of the only classes that like really resonated with me. It was like thinking about things as an economist.
Yeah, and it's super cool because like I never thought I would like that class, but what I think I learned is just like it's almost negative in a sense. Like it made me start working harder because I put a dollar value on time, but also putting a dollar value on time, like when you're out hanging out with a friend or a girlfriend, it can be really negative because like you learn not to enjoy stuff. And like what I almost have to do, and I've started to do it more so, is just kind of let go. Because like before I'd be hanging out with someone, I think like, oh, well, I could be riding, I could be like shipping out shirts, and I could be working on this, and I could be working on that. But it is like you have to find that balance of like work-life balance.
Especially when you're at the point that you're at and where I'm at, where there is literally infinity work to be done at any given time. It's never going to be done.
That is the craziest thing. Yeah. And like people just don't get it. Like when someone asks me like, oh, whenever you get free time, we should come ride.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like every single second I could be doing this. Like right now I could be like designing more stuff or like coordinating, or like I have to do inventory, I have to do this. And like I have a friend now who actually, like, I'm so thankful for it. My friend James Harvey took over all the shipping and stuff for me while I came to California. Because typically what I would do is I would just shut down my store, which is just super bad thing to do because people just get mad confused and think it's shut down forever. Because I've done this before. So he we were in a super rush and I taught him how to do it in like a night. And like he's been handling it so well that actually like when I go back, we're going to be talking like he quit his job and he's actually going to be like taking over, helping me ship full time so I can be out riding more, which is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy the business stuff and learning about it, but like my passion is in riding and making videos.
Do you think that you would ever get to the point that you would be putting out 2 or 3 videos a week instead of the one that you've been on?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Really? Yeah. Like I'm already like, I can definitely put out 2 videos a week. If he's handling shipping, no problem. And like, there's always so many videos. Like for a while, I would just get these ideas in the shower of videos that I would want to do. And I would just start writing them down. I have like just papers and papers of these awesome video ideas that I want to do. A lot of them like kind of vlog type videos, just talking about different things that like, I just feel like I have a lot of thoughts on. Like I've really been wanting to make a video, just in my opinion, on like how to film better. Not like a very specific, like, like really good filming,
right,
but just like a couple like general tips that'll just kind of give kids what they need to get their videos to be watchable.
Yeah.
Because so many people send me videos.
That's a great idea, honestly.
Insane tricks.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, I mean, you could do that too, and you can probably do it well, but obviously my kind of filming is a bit different than yours. And
I suck at filming.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, you're not that bad. You just forget to turn the mic on and then screw up the whole video.
One time, yeah. So how would you say that your life would be different if right now you were done college? Like, what if you were done college? What would you change?
Gosh.
Like, how would it be different?
Dude, like, if I wasn't in college right now, there's so much I could be doing. Like, it'd be so sick. And still, I still wouldn't have enough time in the day to do what I want to do. I'd be traveling so much, for sure. Like,
that's something you feel like you haven't gotten a chance to do enough of?
Oh, no. Like, there's so many messages that I get of kids wanting me to come to Ireland, to Scotland, to Canada, to Australia, to the UK, and just all these places.
Right.
Like, and I feel like really when you meet people like face to face, like even if they're fans like now and they're super strong fans, when you meet them face to face, that changes a lot.
And then you're like actually friends,
Yeah, exactly. And then like when you meet someone face to face, that's how I was saying before. Like I will watch a video of a rider that I've met face to face almost any day.
Totally. And you'll always kind of enjoy it more because you're comparing what they're doing in the video to what you know they're capable of.
And especially like if you kind of know their personality a bit, I just feel like you can connect with them a bit more.
People get hyped on me doing a 180 bar.
Because it's you.
Because they know me. Yeah, they know it's hard for me. Yeah.
If like they had no idea who you are. And that's another thing, like I was saying how I progress in every video. Like if I landed a decade, you know how many kids have been like bugging me because I tried decades of video and didn't land them?
Really?
Like if I landed a decade, so many kids would get hyped.
What's the deal with flares?
I don't flip.
Well, you just don't like doing it. Have you done it?
I flipped on Resi like a while ago, and no one really believes me because I don't have it on video, and I'm the kid that films everything on video.
Yeah.
But like what actually happened was like I did a couple flips on Resi, and I got overly confident with it, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna send a flip real quick. But so I like jumped it normally, and then like after I jumped, I decided to flip, which is a really bad thing to do.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, no. So I just like plopped on my neck, and like my dad works with a lot of disabled people, and a lot of their disabilities has to do with like neck injuries and stuff like that from flips. So like I was just petrified when I landed on my neck. I don't think I got a mild concussion on that one actually, but I was just really scared because that was like my biggest fear with flips because I don't know how to backflip on my feet. So I was like, oh, what if I fall upside down and I have no idea what I'm doing? So I did it again real quick because everyone's like, oh, you got to do another one, otherwise you're never going to want to do this trick again. So I did another one, did it perfectly fine. Same thing happened again, got a little bit of a concussion. I was like, all right, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So like,
not even flares either though. It seems like everybody has flares these days.
Yeah, I don't know, just flips for me like. Exactly, like I said, everyone does it, so I don't really care.
It's weird with the flares those days because people do them so corked out. Like I feel like they don't even feel like it's an upside down trick when they do a flare on like a small quarter or something.
It's really funny because like it just seems like such a fun trick. And you saw me that like the other day, I just got super hyper and I was just trying flares on like grass, like a grass hill.
I did not see that. That sounds cool.
You weren't there. Yeah, no, I was like, oh, Chris, because Chris Kyle always does flares.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to impress Chris. I'm like, Chris, look, I'm gonna try flare. Chris, look.
But the way he does them, we renamed it the crab roll.
Yeah, because
so
his are kind of like cork 540s and they're sick. But like I was literally just like flopping on my ass on grass, and it would probably be pretty funny to watch. It was a lot of fun.
Where do you see like we're getting to the end of this? Where do you see the future of your brand and your whole movement? Like what could you see yourself doing in the next couple of years, or like what's in the future for you?
This summer, I'm trying to get like some sort of road trip vehicle, and like I really want to travel across the country. I want to go to Europe. I want to do way more stuff than I have time for, and I feel like that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
But I would really like to get like a solid crew, and I don't even want to call it a team because it's weird. And can we talk about for a second how my brand is called LZBMX?
Let's talk about the brand. It's just in a weird thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not something that I've been like super stoked on because especially in the beginning, like putting my own initials on a shirt, which is weird because like LZ isn't my last name. My last name is Lazat Zeisler, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen it written out. It sounds weird hearing you say it.
Yeah, it's just a hyphenated name from like my mom's and my dad's, and like I never want to put my name on clothes. I just think that's kind of weird. Like I still think it's weird when I see kids like wearing an LZ shirt or something. But what kind of happened was I'd built it up so much, and like I'd always in the back of my head I was like, oh, you know, I want to start another brand too that like I can rebrand and I
you
can
did.
just no.
Oh.
Like I wanted to start another company just with a totally different name and just kind of like learn from all the mistakes that I made and like just start really strong. But with school, it was just so tough to have the time. And I knew if I did that, it would take away from everything else that I was doing. And like the LZBMX stuff, I didn't realize it had as much potential as it did. And it started growing. And what it kind of was, and like even my dad gave me advice on this. He's like, dude, you already established like that as a name. So going to try to do something else is so difficult.
Starting a new brand name, whenever you see like a band change their name or like a rapper change their name, it's very hard to come back from that. Yeah.
For sure. And like I already had something that I was rolling with. So yeah, like what kind of happened was once I had the third YouTube channel and I kind of like rebranded it under LZBMX, it just started to become more of like a thing and less of me. So it would be almost to you if you started a YouTube channel that was like, 22 BMX. Because essentially like Adam 22, like you could equate that to Adam LZ, I guess.
But that's the funny thing is that for a long time and even now to a certain extent, it's impossible for people to separate the Come Up, OSS, and me. But as it gets older, it's like the brand slowly, like when you can think about Fit without thinking about Chris Moeller at this point.
Honestly, like that's a big weakness for both of us that like we are so strongly tied to our company because you don't want to build something that's so reliant
Based
upon
on you. Yeah.
I could not sell LZBMX.
Well, I mean, you could do something with it.
Yeah,
it would just be,
like,
it would be difficult to do this transition. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what it was, like once I rebranded branded as LZBMX, it started to be known more for like the videos and less for me. So I feel like now it's not as weird having an LZ branded shirt as it was a year ago. And still like people think that I'm like some like super conceited person that thinks I'm like the best rider ever. Like my riding is not that great. Like, I mean, obviously I can do some stuff that like maybe like minorly pro level. I guess.
You're a good rider. It's just that's like, to people it's confusing because you're not as good as the numbers would suggest. I guess.
And people just assume that I'm like super cocky and I think I'm such a good rider, but I really think I'm so like unconfident in my riding that that's actually what drives me to be better.
Really?
Which is weird. Yeah, like I get a lot of people that just assume I'm like mad cocky.
Interesting. I think it's just the fact that you are so comfortable just getting on camera and talking, and most people don't feel comfortable with that. Like there was a younger rider that I hit up like maybe a year ago where I was just like, yo, you have a good personality, you're funny, you're good on camera, you should do videos like what LZ does. And he was just like, nah, I feel fucking weird about that. I feel embarrassed to just be putting my friends on blast like that or talking on camera. I was like, yeah, I get it. I mean, you're 16, you're shy, whatever. But I mean, the fact that you were able to do that, it's pretty crazy seeing like how much has been able to be accomplished with it. Yeah, no, it's really cool, and it's cool that like people support like whatever type of videos that I make too. Because like I mean, obviously, like I'm not gonna be into BMX for the rest of my life. Like I'll probably still stay involved with it, but like I'm a person whose my interests change, and I can totally see myself becoming like enveloped in the car industry. Or like I really like driving cars, and like that's one thing. Like as I get older, I think I want to start doing more with car stuff, and that's not to say that I'm like just gonna quit BMX altogether. But I really think like it's really cool to have an audience that supports no matter what I do. Like we'll go out and film a video, and even if there's not riding it, people still really enjoy it just because it's us, you know? Yeah.
And I feel like
crazy.
I've just started to refer to like LZBMX more as us, just because it has been like the past couple of videos has been like me, Robert, and Spencer, and like sometimes my girlfriend. And it's cool just to have like a continuous crew of people, and like I would love to make it some sort of team where we can like travel around and like.
Would you put your girlfriend on the team page?
No.
That's a bold move.
No, I would not. But like. What I would really like to do if I had a team, it wouldn't be to have a team, and I think it'd be weird if they said they're sponsored by LZBMX, which is another thing like that I was kind of talking about.
So is it still an open thing in your mind that you might make a different brand name? What's Froth? What the hell's Froth?
Oh my god, Froth! Can I just finish my thought and then we'll go to Froth? So like I just think it would be cool to have a team like, and I don't even want them to like rep LZBMX or anything. I just think it'd be cool to push riders that I feel like have a really good personality and like are just good people for kids to follow. Because like we're in a position of power where we have like this pretty decent following, and we can put different riders in the spotlight. So like kind of how I was responsible with myself, I think it would be cool to kind of push the riders that I think are setting a good example for kids and like are out there having a good time and like what I would want to see in BMX in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the image that you should pursue is like, just finding people that fit in with your whole thing because obviously it doesn't appeal to everybody, but it appeals to some people like very, very dramatically. And that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, it's sick. Froth, basically what it was in one of our first webisodes, my friend Cody, like I'll say this real quick because I know we're running short on time, but basically my friend Cody just, he was like, yeah, I'm frothing at the mouth when he had a slushie in his hand. We thought it was really funny. We love to make fun of Cody.
Yeah.
Like Cody was chody and, Cody would always have a speech impediment in the beginning. So he'd be like, yeah, I'm throwing the bars, doing a bar spin. So like we would just make fun of Cody and like that kind of became a thing. And that was like one of the first stickers that I made was froth stickers after actually swag stickers, which is a long story actually.
You invented the swag?
So to touch briefly, again, on like how I started with the company thing, I actually kind of forgot this completely. I had a sticker company before I had a shirt company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I totally forgot about this, but I'll say it real quick so I can go back to Froth. But had a project for one of my classes to make a like commercial, and the commercial was for a product that I got an idea from a girl who's making Swagga spray. So I was like, I'm gonna make Swagga stickers. This is
Swagga spray.
Yeah, this is like it was supposed to be like a fake thing, but like funny and like you spray someone and they have swag. Like
wow.
Yeah, but this was back when swag wasn't as like dumb as it is now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like I was like, oh, I'm gonna make swag stickers. So I made these like fake like paper stickers. I made this pretty funny commercial where I like put them on my arm and like get stronger and all this dumb stuff. I don't know if I've ever shown you the video.
When the word swag first came out, or not first came out, but I remember like maybe 5 years ago, I got in a big argument with somebody because they were like, that word's not, it's just a stupid trend. I'm like, nah, I think this word's going to be around forever. And they were like, hey, you can't prove that. You don't know that. I'm like, nah, it's got something about it. I don't know. I think people are going to keep saying swag forever, but continue on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I made that funny video and then people actually wanted the stickers. So, I forget how, but like, I think one kid hit me up, was like, yeah, I got a vinyl cutter through my school and he made stickers and I sold them. Like, I remember it was the craziest thing. Like, I would have kids mail me money and I would pick it up at the post office and send them stickers like in a self-addressed stamped envelope. And like I would go to the post office and there'd be like, like 12, like 15 envelopes with like $1 bill in them, which is so like ridiculous now because it's just so tedious for that amount of money. But back then it was like sick and like, I was sending stickers making a decent bit of money. And I remember there was this girl I liked and like I would purposely like bring her home from school and like make her stop at the post office with me. And like I thought it was so cool, like counting these single dollar bills in the post office, like sending out stickers. But so that's how that started. So I already had a site before I even did the shirts and stuff. So I kind of knew how that worked.
Yeah. But
so going back to Froth, like, that just kind of blew up and it just turned into this whole thing that was just like this cult of people who liked slushies and sour gummy worms because like we liked them and like we would always make bets like, all right, if you don't get this, like whoever gets the trick first has to buy whoever gets the trick first gets a slushie and gummy worms bought by the other person.
Yeah,
because that was just like the candy that we always ate when we were kids, me and Cody. So like Froth was kind of like his thing and I just kind of made it like a joke about him and then it just kind of turned into something that he embraced.
Well, why did you decide to retire it?
Well, I haven't even really talked about that much.
Oh.
So, like, this is news. But I'm not really retiring it altogether.
Was it sort of like a sub-brand name in the first place?
Yeah,
okay.
And it'd be sick to, like, make it its own brand. And I'm kind of talking about Cody, like, to see if he wants to take it over. It's just I'm not really passionate about it anymore. I mean, like, I'm a grown man. I can't afford to be eating slushies and gummy worms all the time. As much as
you eat candy all the time, don't you?
No, not really that much.
No, really?
I mean, you saw me. I ate a salad at Denny's.
That's true. That was that was one of the funniest Snapchats. Me and everybody else all ordered these big ass plates of like bacon and eggs and shit, and then LZ just has this tiny little fucking salad with like slices of apple in it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that actually has to do with Nicole. Like, she kind of got me more like health conscious and stuff.
That's good though, because I mean, I don't eat great, but slushies and candy and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
Ugh, that's so bad for you.
I mean, I like it. Like, they're super delicious, but I also feel like crap after I eat them.
Same.
I mean, there's a time and place for everything, but it's just like my head's not 100% with the froth thing anymore. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like it's been such a big part of our videos that it's not something that I just want to get rid of. So for me, like, I'm just not 100% in it. So I'd rather switch the focus more to the LZBMX, and if Cody takes over Froth and kind of builds it as his own company, that's sick. But if not, I'll just kind of let it slowly die on its own.
Oh.
Yeah.
So here you are, 19 years old, making a living off of YouTube, still finishing school. You got a beautiful girlfrion at home. You got a weird roommate named Rob.
And a beautiful car.
And a beautiful car, apparently. I don't even know what your car looks like. I don't pay attention to these things, but I'm pretty sure I've been in it. But I don't know. What do you have people to thank? How do you want to end this?
Oh, yeah. Definitely people to thank. I think the biggest thanks is in order, definitely for like my fans and all the people who have been supporting me for day one. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't be here. Like I wouldn't be in California. I wouldn't be where I am at life. I wouldn't be where I am monetarily. Like I probably wouldn't even have Nicole as a girlfriend if it wasn't for YouTube, to be honest. Because I kind of casually like referenced that and like knowing she was overhearing me, which is
the girl I'm seeing right now. She would have no interest in me if it wasn't for YouTube. So I totally know where you're coming from.
Yeah. But anyway, like obviously, I want to thank my fans, Cody, like especially like Cody was out there filming with me. Like he would always film. And like I would film him, and like he was just my friend that would push me, and like we would make videos together. So like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am. Obviously, Bert, he does all the stickers and like helps me with business stuff and helps me film, and he's just like my composure sometimes when I start freaking out and get like super stressed out. Spencer, because Spencer would kill it. All the people who have helped me filmed ever. Like I have all my videos are bro filmed, like bro cammed. I don't have any like legit filmers other than a few that I've paid to film in the past. But so like huge thank to anyone who's like dropped something. Like even Beacons helped me film iPhone clips. So like that's really important, and that's like a big thing to like be where I am. My parents, obviously, like I have super supportive parents that would like drive me to parks and stuff. So I obviously wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. And just supporting what I do with business stuff. And Nicole, especially, like she helps with so much stuff. It's insane. She has so many good ideas for friends. I think definitely you, just because like I feel like that interview that you did with me in 2012 really like was a catalyst for everything else that happened afterwards, because that just kind of opened the window to more like stuff with the BMX industry. So I'm really appreciative of that. And just like there's obviously I could go on probably for like 10 minutes thanking people. That'd be so boring. Yeah.
But I mean so that's good.
Yeah, I mean like there are literally like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a lot of people. Like I didn't get here on my own.
Right.
So I mean, I kind of did. I didn't really have support of many companies, but
I feel the same way. Yeah. I mean, like early on, I always kind of felt that way. Like, damn, nobody. But there's a certain like level of like confidence that gives you when you're like, oh, okay, like nobody's really fucking with me. Like, okay, I'm on my own. That's fine. Because then you don't end up like everybody else having to try to figure it out on your own. Like to me, it seems so obvious. Like
it's so sick being independent.
Yeah. Why didn't companies hit me up and be like, yo, we want to like. Like people should have been trying to buy the come up if they were smarter, like when I was young enough and it was a possibility. But the fact that we had, like 5 advertisers or whatever, and they fucked with us, but they didn't even really like fuck with us that hard. It just made me like, all right, well, I got to figure this shit out like 100%, like there's a certain, level of confidence that I think that shit gives you when you really feel like you're up against, you're fighting towards a goal or towards a victory,
I still think it's crazy to this day. And again, I don't want to keep dragging this thing out, but like, the fact that our webisodes and our videos of us making peanut butter jelly pizza gets like more views than some pro edits.
Yeah, tons. Most pro edits.
Yeah, and like
that's fucked up.
And I feel super weird too. Like another quick thing to mention, like when I go to a skate park, or even when I was at Texas Toast, and like I have kids swarming me, like asking for me like sign stuff or like asking for stickers and stuff. And then like some like insane pro that like I look up to, or that like is a 10 times better rider than me.
I've seen this and it's so funny.
Yeah, and like just kids like are all over me, and like I just kind of feel guilty because like, obviously I'm not that good of a rider. So like then I go to ride and I'm just thinking like, oh well, now I gotta like prove myself, and that kind of pushes me to ride more because I feel like I have to fit this role. Like I have so many people looking up to me that I have to be a good rider, which is kind of tough when you're not a good rider.
You gotta ride more. Riding once a week is not acceptable.
That's why I have my friend taking over. I want to be riding more.
Yeah.
Like I mean, obviously my body, I gotta start going to physical therapy because Florida's killing me riding all the time, like nonstop, and just not like taking breaks. But really, it's just weird being like having people that are way better than me just not get as much attention because I just feel guilty.
Yeah.
And weird.
Well, it's good that you have that humility. Apparently, you say people think you're so cocky, so maybe they weren't expecting that from you.
Yeah, and I think that like that's why videos like this or even my vlogs just kind of do shine a light on something that you just can't hear from other perspectives. All
right. I mean, I think this was a really good interview, and I think that I'm going to put a big ass subscribe to Adam LZ thing at the bottom of this.
Yeah, definitely check out some of my videos, and like if you don't like webisodes and you don't like that stuff, you can give one a try. Click on one that has a lot of views, or even like watch some of the other stuff. Like try to make cool how-tos.
Off the top of your head, what's the one that would be a really good one for them to start with if they wanted to kind of find out what your videos are like?
Webisode 28 has a lot of riding and but it has a little bit of life stuff. And like that's the one that you need to watch when my girlfriend's like chugging like Monster. You said like that turned. Oh no, never mind. That was a different video.
I said that turned me on. It sounds like something that might turn me on. A girl slamming an energy drink. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, but no, that one like I did like mix in a little bit of music with it too, so it's not that weird. It's like weird like EDM music though, which we normally don't do in videos. So
sounds awesome. Yeah.
So it's like a not good representation, but I feel like it's a very very like grasping. So episode 28 will like grasp your attention.
Okay.
But all the newer ones are good. So.
Well, I'll put a link. I'll put a player to webisode 28. Subscribe to Adam LZ. Subscribe to the Come Up. This has been TCU TV with Adam LZ. I guess all I really got to say is that what I gotta say is there's a lot of motherfuckers in this world out here who are doing things the way that everybody else is doing them, and they're getting the same fucking results. And that you, regardless if people don't like you or they don't understand you, is that you went out and you figured out how to do shit on your own way. And that is why a lot of times I've gotten shit for it, but I've said Adam LZ is the smartest dude, the smartest young dude I know in BMX. And I know it sounds crazy, but like, you know, since my era, like I feel like I started to come up, and you figured out a different thing that goes beyond like what I figured out with the come up. And I that's why I have so much respect for the following that you've created and just the content in general. We obviously crib from your shit a lot too. Like,
yeah,
when we do webisode type stuff, I mean, that's directly a result of me seeing your stuff and realizing like, oh, this is good.
For sure. And like I 100% like I appreciate that so much, and you know, like that means a lot to me. And one thing that like I think I heard this at the beginning of a rap song or something, but like one like kind of cool quote to like live by is like, if you're trying to do what someone else is doing, you're only going to be able to accomplish as much as they have. So like if I'm trying to be like the come up, I'm only going to be able to get as far as the come up.
Yeah, because we all look at all these other little BMX websites that are doing exactly the same thing we're doing, and
you just got to do your own thing.
Who the fuck cares? Yeah, it's like,
yeah. If you try to make webisodes, you're not going to make a webisode that gets more views than my webisodes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you probably
but
could.
You have your own hook. You need to figure out your own shit. Like even like somebody might do something very similar to yours, but it would have to be significantly different in order to really capture people, I feel like.
For sure. Yeah. So be yourself.
Be creative, be original. We're filming this on an iPhone, so
yeah, my DSLR keeps shutting off.
Yeah, look how creative and original we are. Anyway, LZ, thank you very much for coming on the show. I think this is going to be a very great episode.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And it is time to go get some rest so I can catch my flight in the morning.
Let's go home and go to bed because it's been a long fucking night. A long day as well.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the people out there. Watch Webisode 28, which is playing in the corner right now, and subscribe to LZ's YouTube channel, and check out TCU TV and the various places that it exists. SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube.
If this is on iTunes, it's going to be sick.
It's on iTunes already by the time they hear this. All right. Thank you, LZ.
Export the iPhone is rolling.
We did it.
Boom. That was definitely good.
That was good. I really liked it.
And the iPhone is rolling.